Josephine from the Pointe shop, and I'm in Chicago, and I'm with Tricia today, and she's going to be helping me on showing you how to do a pointe shoe fitting for better turns. So in this particular video, we're going to be talking about getting a pointe shoe that's better for rotations. So if you have a problem balancing, you need a different shoe for that. So the first thing you want to determine when you want to get a pointe shoe for better turns is if you're better at balancing or if you're stronger. So if you're stronger, usually you are able to get more rotations, and if you're better at balancing, then you can stay on point for a longer period of time. So determine what your problem is. Today we're going to be talking about rotations. So we're assuming that you have pretty good balance and that you can stay on your toes for a pretty long time, and we're just trying to help you get the strength and the torque to get around a couple more times. When it comes to better balancing, you typically want to have a pointe shoe with a flatter, wider platform like this, so that you can stay on your toes a lot longer. But for rotation, you want to have a smaller platform like this. So you can see the difference here between the two platforms. This is slightly rounder and it has a smaller platform, so it takes a little bit less torque to get you all the way around. Pointe shoes with smaller platforms will be like the Grishko 2007, the Novas have a pretty small platform. You can get an Entrada from Russian Pointe, and a couple other Russian Pointe shoes that have a smaller tip at the end. So with Tricia has been in the Entrada Pro for quite some time now. So we're going to try on the shoes and we're going to show you what that looks like. We're not really considering her toe shape at this point because we're really fitting her pointe shoes for the skill level, and we're kind of looking at her technique and her skill rather than just looking at her toes. She is fairly tapered with a little bit of bunions, but she's not so tapered that I would recommend a tapered shoe for her if I was just looking at her toe shape. So we're going to try on a dead shoe for her. You can see there's some green there because she used these for photo shoot outside. Go ahead and put those on, and that's why there's no ribbons on them. So I really like these shoes on Tricia because she is able to balance pretty well in these, and she's quite used to having a smaller platform because before she had these, she also had a similar Russian shoe, a Grishko, which is also smaller in the platform. Go ahead and stand up for me. So I'm going to show you what a dead pointe shoe looks like on her. First position, bring your right foot up on point. Okay, and press up on both. And let me tell you, this young lady worked very, very hard. Her beautiful feet did not always look like this, so there is some hope for you guys. If you have inflexible feet, you can always turn out like this if you work very, very hard. So these are very pretty. Can you go into parallel for me? Onto point. Very good. So from this angle where I'm looking at, she's pretty far over on her pointe shoes, but she's pretty well balanced. So one thing you want to be cognizant about when you're doing a smaller platform is that it is harder to balance. So you want to make sure that you're stable enough to wear a smaller platform. A lot of times people like the tapered look because it's just prettier. They don't like the square, boxier look, but it is easier to balance in. So if that's your problem, you could probably work your way up to this. And I'm going to have you try on the brand new pointe shoes. Another great thing about having a smaller platform, because it is taking you off balance a little bit, it is actually better for training. So think about sitting on a chair as opposed to sitting on an exercise ball, right? So you get stronger when you're sitting on an exercise ball because you're a little bit unstable. So it's the same thing with pointe shoes. If you have a shoe that is a little bit softer, a little bit harder to balance in, then typically it is going to make you stronger because you're working harder. The smaller platform we are looking at, the reason why it's easier for you to get the rotation is because there's a lot less surface area, so it's easier to twerk all the way around onto point. So if you're really great at balancing and if you don't have enough strength, a smaller platform could get you an extra rotation. So it's all about your individual needs. If you are finding that it's harder for you to stay on point longer and that's why you're falling out of your turns, then a wider platform would probably help you. Stand up for me. So this is what a brand new shoe looks like on Tricia. This isn't broken in or anything. The heel sits really well on her feet. Step up onto point for me. Many dancers that have smaller platforms with more tapered box, a lot of times the shoe will start to twist on your feet if your feet are not tapered enough. For Tricia, these are perfect. These are not twisting, these are flat on her heel. The heel is pretty tapered to her back. Tricia does like her shoes a little bit tighter, so there's not a lot of excess on the heel, so that's a good thing. Go into parallel for me. So you can see a brand new pair of pointe shoes it's very stable for her. So this is perfect for Tricia because she's able to balance, step up onto pointe. Beautiful. She's balancing well, she's really stable, she's well aligned, and this will help her turn a little bit better because it's a smaller platform and she's great at balancing. So if you have any questions on what type of pointe shoes you need to get in order to help you with your dancing, you should always have a couple different pairs of pointe shoes. One that's better for balancing, one that's better for turns, one that's better for certain variations. You have to experiment a little bit with different types of pointe shoes in order to figure that out. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you soon.